Raging Torrent retires to Lane's End with 7 wins, nearly $1.8 million in earnings, and 4 triple-digit buyers. He proved himself on the biggest stages, from Santa Anita to Saratoga to Dubai. He burst onto the scene as a 2-year-old at Del Mar, winning on debut despite losing his rider's crop in the stretch. At 3, he reeled off 6 wins in 7 starts, including the Grade 2 Pat O'Brien over older horses, and capped the season with a Grade 1 Malibu Stakes victory, defeating Kentucky Derby winner Mystic Dan.
Raging Torrent by 2 past the 16th pole, and Raging Torrent and Frankie Dettori cruised to victory in the Malibu.
At 4, he took his game global. He dominated the $1 million Godolphin Mile at Maidan, and then returned to the U.S. to go gate to wire in the Metropolitan Handicap at Saratoga, beating champions Fierceness and White Barrio with a career-best 106 buyer. These are stallion-making races, and Raging Torrent won them in style. This colt combines pedigree, toughness, and pure speed. He's by Maximus Mischief out of a Violence mare, and he fits perfectly into the Lane's End tradition of Malibu winners turned successful stallions, names like City of Light, Twirling Candy, and The Factor. He's a sensational addition to the roster, an exciting prospect for breeders who want to tap into proven class, outstanding speed, and international appeal.
But Raging Torrent running the race of his life. Raging Torrent's coming out party is in the Hillendale Metropolitan Handicap. Fierceness was second, just a touch, and White Barrio.
Frankie, you've been on a lot of good ones throughout your career. You've been on this one for all 3 of his wins. Raging Torrent starting, of course, at the end of his 3-year-old year in the Grade 1 Malibu. What did you learn about him on that day?
Yeah, I was lucky that I got the ride because Antonio had 2 horses in the field, and he chose Stronghold, and I landed on Raging Torrent. It was he ran sprinting in the Breeders' Cup, so he was running 7/8, and it was perfect for him. Had a good outside post, and I didn't really know about the horse, so it put me in a spot to be very competitive. And he showed great courage and great determination to not only press the speed but keep going. So I knew I landed on a good horse there, and Doug thought straight away, let's give the horse a break because he ran so hard, and aiming for the Dubai Mile. Obviously, a mile was uncharted territory, so you have to prove yourself. And again, he showed tremendous speed, and he saw it out. He's a very hard grounding mile in Dubai because the stretch is very long, and it just proved that it was effective 7/8 and a mile too. Again, the team decided to give him a long break, and then he appeared in Saratoga. It was an amazing lineup when you think that you had White Barrio and you had Fieldless. My horses it slipped under the radar a little bit because obviously, the Malibu and the Dubai race wasn't as strong compared of his opponent, but I had every confidence on the horse, especially Saratoga. That mile shoot, you got to have some speed to get to the fence, and I knew that he had plenty of that, and I was able to dominate from the start. Obviously, when Johnny V came along me, I thought, let's hope that he's gonna test my stamina, and he basically brushed him away, and he won in great style, and it was a great horse to be around, and it was a good one too. His performance has been great, and as a jockey, physically, it was a monster. Basically, it was like riding a Rolls Royce. He's big, strong, powerful, and he had that will to win. He stuck his head down, and he shook everybody off every time. So it was a perfect racehorse.
Doug, how you been doing?
I'm fantastic, doing really good. Just got back from a trip to Newmarket to their yearling sale. First time I've ever done that. It was a great experience, and but good to be home.
Let's talk a little bit about Raging Torrent. What an unbelievable 3-race run he had in the back half of his career with that Malibu, the race over in Dubai, and then obviously the Met Mile. Let's go to the Met Mile first. Did you expect that performance out of him that day?
You know, God, as long as I've been in the business, I'm always hoping for the best and prepared for anything, right? But he was on quite a good run, and we knew from the word go this horse always, Raging Torrent, always had brilliant talent. So um, that race, even though it was a short field, it was a real contentious race, and having Frankie up gave us extra confidence. But yeah, we're very optimistic he was going to run a big race in the Met Mile.
When you talk about his ability, what was it about him that made him so good? That thing that if you could bottle and give all your horses.
He just had that ability to separate himself from other horses, and you'll get so many horses that are kind of want to hang with their buddies or kind of pack animals, and Raging Torrent had that ability from the word go, always wanted to separate himself. So um, if the setting was right and things went his way, he had no problem pulling away from his buddies and winning, and that was really something brilliant. He had that not a lot of horses can say they have.
I don't say he was the exact same, but he reminds me of another horse that you were familiar with in Golden Sense. That ability to run really fast for a really long time compared to the competition. Is that a fair comparison?
It's a very fair comparison. Yeah, and you can see early on in his form, he really, because of his size, is a good tall horse, got a lot of stretch to him, and always had tremendous amount of stamina. He really was, I thought, our Derby contender early on, and just mentally never was able to shut it off early on in his career to be able to navigate two turns early on. But I think. If he was still in training and we were running him as an older horse, I do think two turns is well within his reach, and the comparison to Golden Sense is pretty darn accurate. Yeah, speed and stamina.
Well, Doug, you would figure as the one who trained Raging Torrent that somewhere down the line you're going to have some Raging Torrent babies. What's some of the things that you hope his offspring have that he had?
I hope they have his heart and his natural athletic ability, his gait speed, his presence around the barn. He was always just a natural leader, and yeah, I can't wait. I'm blessed enough to have a few of his babies down the road because he stood out in the barn here, and you don't win the Malibu, you don't win the Godolphin Mile, you don't win the Met Mile, you don't win the Pat O'Brien, without having amazing ability. And I'm hoping and very optimistic his offspring are going to be similar.
Al Mazzetti, also known as Don Alfonso. Al, how's everything going?
Everything's great. How are you?
Good. I wanted to talk a little bit about Raging Torrent. What would you want to tell potential breeders who are looking to possibly come to Raging Torrent, being your experience in the game, understanding the mare, understanding the pedigree? What would you want those potential breeders to know about Raging Torrent?
This particular family has a ton of speed. I mean, they can. There's some of them can break with a quarter horse. They can come out of the gate at full speed. Some of them tend to want to settle. They don't always like to be pushed. They like to use their own talent at their own time. But the speed is unbelievable. All of Violent Waves brothers and sisters had a lot of speed. The family, just very correct. Violent Wave and the Nth Degree were the only real tall animals in this family. I think we had about 15 foals. I think one of her foals didn't win a race, but everybody else showed talent immediately. And I think he's going to be a successful horse because the family just passes the speed, which is really needed. They have been sound. Sadly enough, I thought he was going to continue and be in the Breeders' Cup this year. Last year, I could not go to the Breeders' Cup because of a health problem. So I never have seen him race live. But yeah, I would recommend him for anybody that wants a horse that can go a mile, possibly a little further. And if the mare has a lot of what would you call it? Long distance in their pedigree, I think he will be a marvelous horse. Probably able to get to the classic speed, distances with a mare that has that classic pedigree.
Al, I appreciate you taking the time. Congratulations on breeding such a remarkable horse.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Craig, I'd like to imagine you had a lot of fun on this journey, but it started at Del Mar, where you've obviously spent a lot of time. Tell me how you felt after he crossed the wire, winning first time out at Del Mar.
We were thinking, oh my God, we've got a 2-year-old that can really run. Could this be our Derby horse? And we put him in the tough races as a 2-year-old, the Del Mar Futurity, etc. And he was really good, but he was just a little bit a cut below, not quite good enough for the Derby trail. But then, as you know, he actually ran on Derby Day, the race right after the Derby, and just blew him away that day. And we were like, God, too bad we weren't in the Derby. That could have been interesting.
When you have a horse like this that shows as much talent as he did first time out, I can imagine you started dreaming. But I would also imagine that the run that he went on, the 4-race run that he went on, was probably a little bit outside of your dreams after that first race. Let's talk about the first of those 4 races, the Pat O'Brien. What did you think after that race?
Well, we drew it up exactly like it happened that day. We knew we were going to the lead. We knew the Chosen Vron was going to come to him. And then we said, we don't know what's going to happen at that point. Chosen Vron actually went by him by a little bit, looked him right in the eye, and Torrent said, nope, not today. He battled back. And to beat a horse like the Chosen Vron, who has been dominant in sprints in the West Coast, was like, oh my God, we've got something here.
Yeah, and then you go on to the Malibu, which I think is a hidden kind of stallion race. I mean, Lanes End, there's quite a few horses that have won the Malibu, the Factor, City of Light, to name a few that have gone on to be productive stallions. Leading up to that race, and being a guy who spent so much time in California racing, I would imagine the Malibu was a nice one for you.
It was exciting. Obviously, opening day at Santa Anita is a big deal, huge crowd. Grade 1 Malibu. That was a tough field that day. We were up against the Derby winner. And to be honest with you, at that point, we knew we had something. We were kind of quietly confident going into the Malibu, and he showed us what he was all about.
So work backwards from the Met Mile. Was the trip to Dubai always in the plans, or did Raging Torrent just kind of take you there?
Doug has done well in Dubai over the years, as you know. So Dubai was always on the back burner, something we wanted to do, a huge purse. When we got in hindsight, it might not have been the strongest field. But when you go over there, you don't know, because there's only a couple American horses in the race. You don't know what you've got from Australia or Japan or from Dubai. And he won that race quite easily. What he showed us there that was amazing was his ability to ship. He did not turn a hair. He was great when he got there. He was great when he came home. And to win so easily in Dubai, it was very surreal. A really fun trip. We really enjoyed it.
Now let's talk about the Met Mile. Obviously, that I knew that was in the plans because you reached out for Salevo reservation. So it wasn't a last-minute plan by you guys. I would imagine, though, even though you were probably optimistic, that you were going to send the horse over there, running into a couple of champions in fierceness, Breeders' Cup winners, and White Obario champions as well. I would imagine that you were hoped that he would run well. Did you expect he was going to do what he did?
We did not. To be honest with you, we felt, look, if he hits the board in the Met Mile, we'll be thrilled. Again, we knew he was going to go to the lead, and it was going to be a matter of can they come get him. I'll be perfectly honest with you. When they turned for home and fierceness got to him, I grabbed the person next to me and I yelled, hold for second, hold for second. I had no idea he was going to look Fierceness in the eye and put him away. What a great day that was.
Yeah, and a performance that Fierceness coming back and doing what he did in the Pacific Classic. I'd imagine that you guys felt a lot better about the situation. Unfortunately, he retired, but fortunately, the rest of the world's going to have an opportunity to get involved with Raging Torrent now that he stands at Lane's End. Tell me, in that one thing about Raging Torrent, that if you could hope he passes to his offspring, what is that one thing that you're hoping for?
His competitiveness, his tenacity. Again, as it happened, at least in 3 of his races, horses would come to him and he would say, "You are not going by me." If that can be passed on, I can tell you his kids are going to be tough to beat.